All right, this is supervisor training, running a shift, and just intro to cost of goods. We already talked about driving sales, which is just keeping things people oriented, making sure we smell good, making sure people taste and see that we are amazing. There's labor, which is the biggest touch point you have with managing the variable costs of the business and therefore the profitability of the business. And then cost of goods is the third one, and that's what we're going to talk about. So cost of goods, sometimes these things come across as a little bit petty, but it's one of those things, again, where I don't want you to be making small choices that are disabling you professionally because you don't understand that you are actually the guardian of the goals of this organization, right? And our goals are to bring enjoyment, be a life-giving business. But that's kind of like the curtains and the couch, the furnishings of the interior of a house, right? It's the beauty and the aesthetics of the environment that people are coming in to enjoy. But if you don't have a foundation and walls and a roof that works, then how pretty your curtains are, how comfortable your couch is, not really that big of a deal because they're probably wet, and it's not going to be very comfortable if you're freezing your butt off because your walls are full of holes. So the financial goals of the organization are kind of like, okay, do we have a roof that's not leaking? Do we have a foundation? Do our walls intact? Stuff like that. So even though I really value people, I want there to be a place to have those people come and be employable. And so we have to protect the financial goals of the organization. Cost of goods is one of those things to be aware of. Okay, so like really things where this is going to come up from day one with employees is bring a water bottle to work. Please don't ever use a disposable item when you could use a metal, like why are you using a plastic cup if you could use a metal cup to do that, like to refill your hot fudge warmer, right? That's a really, really small thing. But whether or not you're doing that is you communicating whether or not you understand this part of running a business, okay? So another thing would be when you're striping your caramel rods, don't stripe them over the sugar and leave all that chocolate in the sugar. You pull those beautiful caramel rods off, you trim them nicely, so they're not like gooing all over and sticking to each other and then getting broken later on the trays. And then you stripe them. And when you stripe them so that the chocolate is on the caramel, but not like several inches off to the side. Or if you do end up several inches off to the sides, that's fine, it doesn't matter, but you're gonna scoop that chocolate up and put it back in the milk chocolate bin. That's a cost of goods issue. That's where this affects us. It's basically anywhere where waste is happening. And probably one of the biggest ones has to do with stocking well, managing ordinal dates. So this is an organizational issue. It's a training issue, making sure nobody ever ends up in the chocolate section, fudge section, any of the sections that have like anywhere out of ice cream, unless they are properly trained to restock, right? You do not want to just take some random person and let them restock chocolates because you're going to end up with 3 or 4 boxes of the same truffle open, and we're going to have no idea what they're dated for. And then our AC is going to break in the middle of summer, and every single one of those boxes is going to go bad. So anyways, ordering as a supervisor, if you're in charge of ordering, this is a really big area to be cognizant of. So say you get apples, right? And you order 3 boxes of apples, and you realize after the apples showed up that one of those boxes is primarily bad. And you actually got like a third of a box out of it. So what you do is you just fill that box with, make sure the bad apples are in there, take the ones that are good, put back the other bad ones from the other boxes in it, and next time Keeney comes, you say, I'm returning a box. And so say next Keeney order, they're delivering 2 boxes of apples, you'd be like, okay, this box that you brought me last time is bad, and so I'm going to return it right now. And they'll be really chill about it. They'll be like, okay, that's fine. But you have to, there's a particular like protocol to doing it. That is a cost of goods issue. And again, it seems kind of petty, but that adds up like a lot over the year. And it's also super annoying to think that you have 3 boxes of apples and to end up with 1.5 because of how many are just not something we want to serve to customers. So anywhere ordering, Kilwin's order, Keeney order, anything like that comes into play with cost of goods. Managing waffle cones, like, do you know how to fix basic issues with waffle cones? Because somebody can spend like 4 hours on waffle cones and every single one of their cones can have a hole in it. And if you don't have the awareness as a supervisor to go, hey, how's it going? Oh, how are your cones looking? Is this something I would give to my grandma? Like, just imagine poor grandma walks out on the street and she's got like this nice blouse on, and all of a sudden her blouse is covered with chocolate ice cream because these evil people, served her a cone with a hole in it. Like, don't ever do it to people. It's so mean. Why would you do that to anyone? The justice part of me just goes crazy in those moments, for the sake of the customer, right? But as a cost of goods issue, it's also a problem because, yeah, it's great to have the smell going out, but looking at it from not a driving sales perspective, but a cost of goods perspective, would be like, and you just wasted all of your time and all of that batter, and we have to throw all of this away. So caring about that matters. So just make sure you know how to solve problems that prevent waste. Make sure you don't let people stock who don't know how to stock. And if you are in a position where you're doing ordering, just make sure that you're correctly trained to stay cognizant of that as you go through that process. So welcome to Cost of Goods.